So here we are. 3 years ago, I was talking to Angus yesterday, and he was reminding me how I was incessantly coming to our prayer times about 3 years ago, talking about lack of direction in my life. And here we are now talking to you about how God's directed us to South Africa. I mean, we arrived at the airport in the middle of January, and we probably knew about 3 people in South Africa, and I think that's when it really hit us. I mean, we were aware that the big change was going to take place in our life, but that was a huge moment when we arrived. We were welcomed at the airport, which was nice. And I don't want to overload you with loads and loads of detail, but we did struggle with the transition. The transition was quite difficult. When you arrive in South Africa, you think it's quite a similar culture because it's a developed country, technically. But it's actually quite a difficult kind of culture in terms of bureaucracy, and I don't know how many queues we sat in waiting for official documents. That was fun, wasn't it? That was fun. But I think one of the things that really stuck out for us was the pace of life. And it was probably the pace of life really in amongst the work that we were going to get involved in more than the people who work in the centre of Cape Town, because it's a busy city like any other city. But we had come from lives that were kind of pretty frenetic. Lorna's job in the NHS and me running a business and being involved in leadership here and all the other things that were involved in life. We just seemed to spend all our time running from one thing to the next. And in Cape Town, things slowed down significantly. And I think the lesson we've learned from that is that I think things here very often appear urgent when they aren't very important sometimes. I'm not saying that for all things, of course, that's a sweeping statement. But it just seemed to be that looking back in our lives here, we were running around doing things that weren't necessarily important, but were just urgent. And in Cape Town, our life changed to become more involved with things that were important. And I don't mean that in any kind of self-aggrandising kind of way. I just mean that the people we were involved in, the kind of work we were doing, kind of really mattered to them. And that was great from all sorts of views, because it kind of gave us a passion for it also, but it also was a big responsibility, I think. And when we left, I think we were very open with people before we left. We said to, I remember saying to many people that we haven't had a heart for the people of South Africa for years. This is not something that's been building up in us for years. This was a step of obedience to something that we felt God's very strongly saying to us, and God very strongly directed us to South Africa. But I can tell you now that He is absolutely breaking our hearts for the people in these townships that we're dealing with. He's just breaking our hearts for that. There are huge extremes in Cape Town. I know a lot of people visit Cape Town, and it's a beautiful city. It's an absolutely spectacular city in many ways. But the extremes are huge. And our lives are taking us into both ends of the extreme in some ways, because we are spending daily, we're into the townships and informal settlements meeting black and coloured people. I'm going to use words like black and coloured and white, by the way, because we don't do that anymore here, because it's politically incorrect. But in Cape Town, it's regular part of the language. But we spend time with black and coloured people in some of the poorest communities anywhere, I think. We also are part of a church now that Lorna may say more about. We're part of a church now in one of the suburbs of Cape Town. And it's a wonderful church with wonderful people in it who are more affluent, and that's just the way it is. They're more affluent, they tend to be white, although it is a mixed church and there are coloured and black as well. But it's a more affluent church. And it amazes us the number of people we speak to who have never been to the places we have been to in Cape Town and don't even know the names of the places we're going in the new city. And there's a real cultural barrier. And many people many people can justify the feeling that the government should be sorting all the problems out, and that it wasn't my fault anyway, was it? So these people can live over there, we can live over here quite happily. So it's difficult, but we also come across lots of people in the more affluent side who desperately want to do something to help, but don't really know what products they can actually meaningfully do. And that's one of the dreams we have for Sweet Home Farm, for the building of homes. We have something like 2,300 homes to build in Sweet Home Farm. We may be involved in the majority of them. We'll see in the fullness of time once the city completes the infrastructure part. But we would dream to try and put those people who are more affluent in touch with the people who are poor and actually give a direct way we can actually contribute to solving this issue. I mean, this is huge. There are 400,000 people in Cape Town alone who live on land they don't own, and it's informal, meaning they're basically squatting. They're living in tin shacks, they have no water to speak of, no proper sanitary function. 400,000. And if we could put people in touch with directly with families that can actually help, I mean, it would cost to build a 2-storey house that we saw here, £9,000. That's all we're talking about. And we have a dream that restitution might be the answer. So that's a model we would love you to pray about. It's a long-term hope and desire, but we really want to try and get there. I think the biggest lesson for us arriving was we had come from lives where we felt relatively significant. We came from lives where I was sitting as managing director in an architect's office, banging the table and organising people and organising big budgets and dealing with clients. Leader of church, involved in things at church, all these good things. But we had to arrive in Cape Town and learn to become insignificant. We had to just shut up and listen for a good long while. We're still there, to be honest, we're still listening. But it was amazing the desire in us as we arrived to, right, we're here now, our lives have totally changed, we're here now, so what are we going to do? And to try and make ourselves more important than we really are. Try and find a way to be meaningful immediately. And we realised quite soon that we'd had to die to that desire. We had to die to that desire for us to be important, and to learn that we had to not do the thing for the community, but work within the community and allow the community to guide us in ways we could help them. So I know this is a bit of a ramble, but please come and ask us questions, because it's difficult to relay this in a short space of time. I just want to finish before Lorna speaks. This battle for insignificance, I want to read a bit from Romans 9, and it comes just after Paul is talking about how Jacob stole Esau's inheritance, or God gave Jacob Esau's inheritance. Is that grounds for complaining that God is unfair? Not so fast, please, God told Moses. I'm in charge of mercy. I'm in charge of compassion. Compassion doesn't originate in our bleeding hearts or our moral sweat, but in God's mercy. The same point was made when God said to Pharaoh, I picked you as a bit player in this drama of my salvation power. All we're saying is that God has the first word, initiating the action in which we play our part for good or ill. I'll just leave you for that.
Molo, good Johnny. I'll come back.
Such a show off.
Lisa, I just wanted to give you a few kind of prayer points, some things for you to consider and to give thanks for recently. And sorry, I keep needing to put my glasses on, because if I look, I can see you. If I do that, you're all blurred. First of all, I want really to give thanks to God for the transition. The transition was really quite difficult. But we are really quite settled now. We've got a really nice flat, and we're, all our stuff has arrived, and our personal photographs and pictures and stuff, so that's made a big difference. Also finding a church. We have found a church, as Dawn mentioned. It's in a suburb not far from where we live. A very vibrant church, and we really have been made to feel very welcome. Lots of new friends, and those things take time, as you know, but we really have been overwhelmed by how generous people have been to us there and how welcoming they've been. Also, we really want to give thanks to you for your support, for your prayerful support, for your practical support. We really do know and really value how much you are praying for us, and some days we really feel it. There's a couple of times where I thought, goodness, people are really praying for me today, because there's been a few near misses of the roads. And also to our core group. We've got a core group here, Julia, Fiona Bradnell, John Tange and Graham Yeoman, and they have just been so supportive of us. They have messaged us, they've just suddenly sent us a wee text or a prayer point, or just keeping in touch on a very informal, regular basis. But they've also Skyped us every month, which we've just loved, because we've been able to share with them how we're really feeling, and hopefully they're able to share some of that with you. So that has been so valuable to us. The other thing to consider is the relationships that we have. Our relationship, we were not used to spending so much time together. So initially we had to kind of, after a couple of weeks, we're okay because we're on holiday for two to 3 weeks, we can cope. But we did have to then, after a couple of weeks, sit down and actually really say, we need to reevaluate how we do things, because we're constantly together. That actually isn't the case so much now, because we are both out doing different things, but that was something that we had to discuss. We are still talking, so. But that wasn't something we had even thought about, to be honest. Also the relationship in our individual teams, the New Day team and the Ubu team, they're both very small teams. We've joined them, and so we want continuing good relationships within those teams, which we've definitely had, and we want that to continue, obviously. And for unity within these teams as they grow and develop the work that we're both involved in, and also just being aware that we are under attack, so we really need to support each other and be there for each other, and certainly that's the case with both the teams that we're working in. The New Day have people who work in the UK as well as those in South Africa, so we actually have a Skype meeting every week the way we pray for each other and share, and I didn't know that they kind of did that so regularly, but the fact that they do, I really get annoyed if they don't have it for some reason. That has been great for me. And also relationships in our new church with the people that we've met there, that we get to know them better and really bed in. I think other things to consider is our good health. We've both been very well, we've not had any issues. Obviously health is a bit of a problem in South Africa in terms of it's costly, you have to pay for it if you're ill. And our safety as well. We've not ever felt threatened, we've never felt that we are in a dangerous place, although there's a lot of danger, a lot of issues round about us, particularly when we're going into the townships, lots of gun fire, and the roads are just completely mental. So basically for our safety.
Well, I was not saying, but the first time she went into Kainisa, she ended up dealing with a guy's gunshot wound. Okay.
Having never experienced that before in Glasgow, although I know it happens. So I think we do feel safe, but again I feel that's partly because you prayed for us, and we really value that. And one of the things that we've kind of discovered, I mean it's very early days, it's only 6 months in, is we need to pray for a shift in the council, in the people who work in the city, the sort of democracy, in that we need to pray for a shift for people to make decisions that can affect our work in terms of the health and housing, because there's lots of corruption, lots of things that are done that don't seem to be very sensible from our point of view, because there's obviously money changing hands and stuff. So we really want to pray against that and to basically try and get people who can make decisions who are probably above the level of those people. So we are looking for the sort of favour of God, and we have experienced that, actually, that has happened already. And basically a sort of growing understanding of what God wants for us, what's the next steps, what does he want now for us? Because we, as I say, it's early days, but we have to be open and make sure that we're walking the path that he wants us to walk and not get carried away. And the last thing I've got here is language. And Mono Kajari is the only kosa that I know, which basically says, hello, how are you? And if somebody tells me how they are, I have no idea how they are. So we're hopefully going to do some language lessons when we go back. There are in the local high school in Brittany where we live, they have lessons, so we're going to try and do that. Everybody speaks English. Many actually of the black people, particularly in Kainisa, they actually speak Afrikaans, English and Xhosa, so when they speak 3 languages and they can just go from one to the other with so much ease. So we really feel we need to try and make an effort to be able to communicate with the local people in their own local language, and neither of us are any good at languages at all. So that's something for the future when we go back. I just wanted to share this passage as well, actually. When I was in Kainisa a few weeks ago, I was having Lucy, who you saw on the video there. She works for New Day. She does all the admin stuff. There's a lot of admin goes on because there's lots of programs there. And when I was speaking to her a few weeks ago, we were going through her contract. She's quite new, and I was going through it with her and just saying, is that what you're expecting? Is that the hours you're expecting to work? There was a few queries, and the black people don't query white people, which is something that we've learned. So I was saying to her, no, that's wrong, you need to check that, you need to, and Anna Marie, who works in New Day with me, she's, totally well able to have Lucy questioning her, but that culturally wasn't acceptable. And so at the very end, it said how much Lucy earned on the last page, and I said, Lucy, is that how much you're thinking? Is that what you were expecting every month? And she said yes, and I said, that's great, Lucy. I mean, it's really not very much, but it's a lot for her. I said, there's just one problem with that, Lucy. And she said, what's that? I said, you earn more than me. And she just looked at me, I said, I am a volunteer, Lucy, I don't earn any money. And I thought she knew that. She couldn't stop laughing, she was hysterical. She said, but you're white and I'm black. And she couldn't get away from the fact that she was a black person earning more than a white person. And I just felt, how humbling is that? She just thought it was so funny. So these are the things that we're learning culturally, that we just, every day is a school day, as they say. So when I was in Kainisa, I was sitting there, and it's a beautiful building, which you saw very briefly on that, huge church building in the most very deprived area. And I was sitting looking out the window. The way I was sitting in this room, I was looking out the window, and all I could see was Table Mountain. In the back, it's out the window, so it's like a square window, and it was just this view, it was like a picture, a view of Table Mountain. And it was a kind of misty day. It's been really cold in Cape Town, can I tell you? It was a bit misty, and it was a bit murky, but you could just see the sun, starting to come through the clouds, and you could see the top of Table Mountain. And this was like a picture postcard. And then I stood up, and as I stood up and walked, I looked out the window, and of course it was just all the houses and the dogs and everything, all the children with bare feet running about in the mud, and I just thought, my goodness, what perspective. I need to keep my perspective on that and not feel that I'm in the dirt. I need to look and see what God's doing. So this is from Ephesians, which was what I was reading that morning before I went there, actually. Now, this is from the Message. Now, God has us where He wants us, with all the time in this world and the next, to shower grace and kindness upon us in Christ Jesus. Saving is all His idea and all His work. All we do is trust Him enough to let Him do it. It's God's gift from start to finish. We don't play the major role. If we did, we'd probably go around bragging that we'd done the whole thing. No, we neither make nor save ourselves. God does both the making and saving. He creates each of us by Christ Jesus to join Him in the work He does, the good work He has gotten ready for us to do. work we had better be doing.